Remove the piston connecting rod from a Land Rover Discovery 3 and Range Rover Sport air compressor. First thing we do is we slacken the 4 bolts on the top. You then remove the 4 bolts. It's a good idea when removing the 4 bolts that you remember which holes each of the bolts goes into, because the bolts have cut a particular thread in these housing mounts, and if you use a different order to put the bolts back in, you could crack the engine mount. So try to keep the bolts in the correct order. Next thing you do is tilt the cylinder head upwards. Now there is a wire on the temperature sensor that sort of becomes tight, and there's a little tie wrap on the wiring loom. You could snip the tie wrap so that it will allow you to tilt the cylinder head upwards. Sometimes when you start tilting the cylinder head upwards, the shim stays on the top of the piston liner. Please note the orientation of the shim. Sometimes it stays in the cylinder head, sometimes it stays on top of the liner. Next step is to remove the 3 screws on the front face plate. And you can now remove the piston liner. That which is the next step. So you position the piston pre-assembly tool, locate it in the piston housing, rotate the crank down so that the piston head locates correctly. You then get your block of wood, which is used to support the crank while you're undoing the bolt. You place that in like so, and using a T25 Torx tool, you can now slacken the bolt. As soon as you've slackened the bolt, you can remove the piece of wood, and you can also remove the pre-assembly stroke disassembly tool. You can now remove the bolt entirely. You may need to rotate the crank in a particular position so that the piston will come out of the housing. This piston connecting rod now is ready for the piston seal and wear ring replacement, which is explained in my other videos.